Hi guys, welcome back. Something a little bit different. I did make a mention to a few people a little while back on our vintage forum and on our Discord group about some products I'd seen and said these would be interesting to see if anybody has tried them and how they work. Well, they've arrived. I took the gamble and thought, well, I'll have a go. I've got enough yellow stuff to use with it. So I got a bunch of stuff. Now it was all through Temu, and nowadays they have a minimum spend of about $30, $35. What I have got, item number 1, and this is a de-yellowing cream, and it's what they use for dehumidifiers and vents and things like that. So this is the one I've got to try. It does say white shoe polish. Maybe it's something in the translation. Anyway, we got that one there to try. So I did just get one of each just to give it a go. The next one we have is a liquid, and this is for de-yellowing plastic. So it comes with a bottle. That one just comes in the jar as it is. That one comes with a bottle, with a spray tip, and a little polishing cloth. Now this is like a foam on one side and a very, very soft microfiber on the other. So there's that. And if you can use the magnifying glass, instructions, which I'm going to have to zoom in and try and read, even on the back of the bottle. Anyway, there's that. That's the second thing. The next thing I got that I wanted for a couple of projects where I found the major processors were getting a little bit hot in some of these vintage gears was these. And these are self-adhesive heat sinks, and they come in packs of 10, and I got 2 packs of them. They were about the middle of the roads. I think they were about 9 by 9 mil by about 4 mil high. They were just enough to take any ambient heat away out of the chip and make it run a bit cooler. The next thing I got is this, and I haven't even opened it. And I order this stuff, guys, and then after a while I forget what I've ordered. So it's a bit like Christmas when it all gets here. But I think this was, I needed a new craft knife and blades, and yeah, and that's what this is. So this is a set of 3 craft knives, and in the lid under the foam, it has a magnetic strip in it, various blades. Now all the stuff, don't worry, I will put it on the overhead so you can get a better look at it anyway. And so that's what that is. One of the most essential things that I got was this. And if you haven't used them and you need them, foldable glasses. Now these, I've got a set of these and they gotten all scratched up, and so I needed a new pair. And these were in a special, and I got those. And they come in their own little case with a little protective slider, and it clips shut so you can put it in your pocket. And I have a set of these, as I said, the old set I've got, and I take it with me wherever I go in case I want to read something. I can pop them out. And those are a set that I got to replace the ones that are now getting a little bit past it. And the last thing is this. And I've looked at these for a while and haven't sort of thought about getting one, but this came as quite a cheap set, and I think this was about $14 or something like that. but it is the pins for removing connectors out of header blocks and that sort of thing, like out of your JTS connectors and other bits and pieces. Now some of them are on a big long cable. There's miles of these things in here, and I thought, for the price in a case, the whole set. So that is all of that. So all that stuff turned up, and I thought, for the price, it wasn't too bad. And the next thing that I've got that came in is the power supply and the plugs for the Yamaha rebuild discs for the power supply. So those bits have turned up, and the thing is with that, I'm just having to recalibrate my printer. I haven't used it in quite a few months, so it was out of whack when I tried to print something, and yeah, I needed to recalibrate it. The other thing I got is this from PCBWay. What could it be? Well, I'll tell you what, guys, that's all these bits. We'll go over to the bench so you can have a look down at what all this is. Hang on to your seats. Okay, guys, so here we are. Welcome to the messy bench. I've just recently taken the Dragon 32 off of here, and you may have seen the video I put up on that. So, 2 bags. And I will be doing a quick update on that before I finish this video for you as well. There is a second part to that coming out, so don't worry, guys. That's what some of this stuff was for, and I wanted it so I can use it for trying to de-yellow that case before I do it all. Right, so what's in the box? Now, how do they put these? I'm trying to remember. Ah, that's right. They tape this end. You open it up. You don't need to look at that. So what do we have under here? Well, there's some bits in there. There's some boards in there. There are some things in here. Now, I think I ordered a couple of different things in from them from memory, and I'll just have to have a look back over my notes and see what they were. Yes. So these ones were to make up the Pico 9918s. And so, rather than mucking around, I just got them to do all the level shifters and everything on the boards for me. And then these are just spare boards, because they could do 10 for the price of 5 normally. I just got 5 empty boards and I got 5 made up, because I've got some Picos up there that I've ordered. And this I'm not too sure. Oh, these are the little breakout boards, I think, that these use to go to VGA, I think it is. We'll just have a quick look at that. And so this will be one of the projects I'm going to look at doing on here as well. I have a few different boards I need to look at putting together, and this will be one of them, because this will give me an option for machines where the processors are playing up and I haven't got the exact right one. Yeah, so these are the Pico for the VGA connector to go on to. So the VGA connector goes here, and it's just a single strip header cable on the other side, and that goes directly to the header cable that's on here. And on this, there's 2 sets of pins. There's a set of header pins that go down, which plug into the socket on the motherboard for the processor, and then the Pico goes on top of it. And with these you can unplug them out of the board and use the USB to reprogram and update them if you need to. So that's cool. So that's another project to do on here. So that's what I've got. So I will have some spare boards for anybody who wants some. If anyone's looking at wanting to get in and make some of that sort of gear. Right, the other thing we were talking about were these. These are the heat sinks. And those come in a little pack. And as you can see them there, they're little silver alloy ones. You can get different colours, and you can actually get these in copper if you want to. They get a lot more expensive. They do slightly bigger ones, but I prefer these little ones for when you're putting them onto a processor. You can stick a few of them on, and I got the, because that's the right size for the Z80s and that sort of thing, and the 6809s and that sort of thing. They're the same size processor, and these will fit on them, and you could put one or two on top of these, or three, however many you want. And I thought they're a good little thing to have on hand if I ever need them. As I said, I got a couple of packs of those, so I've got 20 of them, and they'll just go into a drawer in the cabinet, so I've got them there all the time. I was going to look at getting two different sizes, and then I thought, well, I might as well just get the smaller one, and if I need to, I use more. If I got the bigger ones, then I may not always use them. Oh, we'll take those out of here, and we'll put them all into the one bag. There we go. And so that's those. And then the next thing was this. Now this we are going to do an online video of. I've basically read up on what to do and how to use it, and I say, really, how are you meant to read something like that without a magnifying glass? That is just crazy. But the liquid one, as far as I know, is you spray it on and you use the soft side of this to massage it in, make sure it's all wet, and then you wrap it in like plastic wrap or Glad wrap or that type of stuff. I do have some of that commercial wrapping plastic for pallets and that, which I think will be better because it's bigger. And so I will do that with that. And the other thing I'm going to do at the same time, I will get a case or something else, and I'll try the cream, and we'll see how well they both do. A lot of these sort of say that if it doesn't work right the first time, try it again later, and do it more than once and see if that works. So I'm really interested in it. The paste I sort of thought would be better than the liquid if it works. But yeah, oh, it does. It comes with a little sponge and damp. Oh, it smells alright. Damp it on and you wipe it onto your case, shoes as it says. I did pick the one for doing whitening cases, so whether somebody's can't spell English and grab the wrong one, I do not know, but we'll try it anyway. Yeah, if anything, it'll make it nice, smell nice. But yes, this one we're going to use and do on another video so I can see if it fixes this case. The thing with this is that it is a 2 to 3 day process. They say you spray it on with this, you get it really wet, you wrap it up and you leave it wrapped up for 2 to 3 days and then see what it's like after that. That's what we're going to do with that. And this is the knife set, and what I'll do is I'll zoom down on this so you can just have a look and see what's in here. so you can have a better look at it. I'll just zoom in a wee bit for you. There you go. So that's a better look at it. And as you can see, all the different blades, they give you 3 handles with 3 blades on them. They're all the standard blade. So it's a nice little set, and I think this was only something like about $9, $7, something like that. And this is magnetic, so these all stick to that. So they, when you open the lid, they don't all fall out. So close the lid, open the lid, they all stay there. So that's really, really good. And that just stops them all rattling around inside. So yeah, that was a really, really nice thing. So I might see if I can find the prices I paid for this stuff. I don't think it was very much. And other than me glasses, okay, and so other than that, it's just me glasses. Now I got these for just general use, and they are a 1.5. The ones you see me working on here when I'm doing my soldering and that are 4s, and I get them for the magnification. And that's on AliExpress. You can do that. You can actually buy up to, I think, 6 times is the biggest they do. But these are just little foldable ones. They fold out, and then these fold. They have like a little rubber thing to sit down the side of your head. So I mean, they're quite nice. The ones I have had another piece that fold out that had the piece that goes over your ear. It has the curved bit that goes over your ear. So, but I mean, other than that, these will work fine. As I say, they're only for when I go out. And of course, the last things was the plug-in sockets. And I got these as a matched set because, as I was saying before, I don't know if the socket in that power pack is very good or not, because it feels quite loose when I put the power lead from the power supply into it in the machine. So I thought, well, I'll get them in a set, and then that way, if this one plugs in, it's still quite loose, I will swap it over and put this in the board, and that way I'd have a couple of good sets. And it was cheap. It was just as cheap to buy 2 as it was to buy 1. The freight was the same. And then, because that's the power supply, that's the T50B, and this is the one that gives us a 5 amps on the 5 volt and an amp on the 12 and the minus 12. So that's overkill for this machine. But as I say, these run MIDI in that, and it has the MIDI unit under it. When you buy them originally, they didn't have the MIDI units, so that was an added extra. So over time, if someone has used that power supply in this machine with MIDI units, it may have slowly gone downhill to the point to where it's starting to fail. And originally, when I did this machine for the guys about 18 months ago now, we did find there was an error in the power supply, and it was making a hell of a noise. It was a real high-pitched squeal, and finally, with some help, tracked it down to there was a coil in the power supply on, I think it was the 5 volt rail, and it was really hot, and then it was squealing like mad. So we looked over the circuit, and the 12 volt rail had the same coil, the same specs and everything. So I desoldered it and swapped them over, because the 5 volts pulling more than what the 12 volt is in current. So I thought, well, maybe that would help, and it did. We put it back in, and it was good, and the squealing went away and everything. So I thought, that's fine, and it booted up fine afterwards and all the rest of it. But the chap, after a wee while, he went and reused it again, and it wasn't going, and that's why it came back. And after running around chasing my tail for a wee bit, and thinking it was cables inside the case, and as you would have seen on the latest videos on the Yamaha, it was the power supply. The power supply is not delivering enough for the internals to actually fire up and run the VDP. And I proved that in the video by using a PC power supply to give it more than what it needs, and it ran fine every time I turned it on. Bang, straight away, every time. Switched back to the original power supply, just came up with a splash screen, nothing else. wouldn't go any further. That's where we're up to. So this one here, as I say, hopefully tonight my case is just doing a torture test, just to make sure all the overhangs and the stringing and all that sort of stuff is spot on, and then I can start printing the case for it, and this will be another one we'll be doing. So guys, that's the end of that. There you go, lots and lots and lots of little bits and pieces for us to be doing. I do have more things to do. I've got some more boards down here that need to be built and to be used. And as I say to you about stripping gear down, always look at what's going to be thrown out, that you're going to throw out. You may find you have a whole pile of joystick connectors or VGA connectors from projects that we're going to get binned. And there's even some PC joystick connectors or Macintosh style. There's all that sort of stuff, guys. So rather than just it's just junk and bin it, disassemble them and put them into a container, mark it, put them aside, and there you go. Alright, so until our next one, have a good day, have a good week, and until next time, ciao.